بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد. My dear brothers and sisters and elders, respected ulama, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic that was given to me, the ideal Muslim marriage, and then my brother Mukhtar Ma'roof also said that I should talk about the upbringing of children as well. So I said to him that is, I think I am the ideal person to do both of these, because I have 4 wives and 25 children. So therefore I should know how to have an ideal marriage and how to bring up children. The reality is that I have 1 wife and no children. So I can give you a lot of advice about how to bring up children. And alhamdulillah, as I tell people, I have 1 wife. And we have been married now for 27 years, alhamdulillah, and she never told me that she is unhappy. And therefore I want to start off with the first rule of a happy marriage: don't ask. Because if you ask, you will get answers. So alhamdulillah, inshallah, she is happy. And so life, alhamdulillah, continues very well. The issue of marriage, I want to start with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in His book with regard to marriage, where in Surah Al-Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described very beautifully what the marriage is and what is supposed to happen in it, and how a marriage can be something which is very beautiful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that from the ayat of Allah, from the signs of Allah, is that He has created mates for you from amongst yourselves. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used 3 words: Sukun, Mawadda, wa Rahmah. 3 words. And these 3 words are the secret of a happy marriage. So what is sukun? Sukun, as we know in the language, in Arabic, sukun is the absence of harakah. So where you have no fatha, kasra, dhamma, you have sukun. So sukun is the absence of harakah, the absence of movement. And therefore when we get married, what are we saying? We are saying from this day onwards, I will not move away from my spouse. My heart will not move away from my spouse. My eyes will not move away from my spouse. My desires will not move away from my spouse. My hands and feet will not move away from my spouse. My spouse is for me, I am for my spouse. The absence of harakah is sukun. Number 2, mawadda. Mawadda is love. Love in the context of Islam, love in the context of what is described in the Quran and Sunnah, what we know from the seerah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not lust. It's not purely physical desire. Love, to me, is the result of respect. You cannot love somebody who you have no respect for. And therefore it is very important for the husband and wife to get to know one another, to get to know each other's strengths, to get to know what each other stands for, to get to know each other's principles, to understand each other's connection with Allah Jalla wa Ala, so that we respect them. And when this genuine respect arises in the heart, this produces love. If you think about it, you cannot love somebody you don't respect. So the basis of love is respect. And love is not what, as I said, it's not just physical desire. That's not love. And for that it's very important for the spouses to know one another. And so when you get married, you start spending time with your spouse and not with your cronies in the club or in the shisha place or wherever else, or the kitty parties. People must also think about language. I always think people use terminology without understanding. A kitty party is a cat. So at least call it by some other name, a little more dignified name than kitty party, So instead of that, you spend time with your spouse, you get to know them. Who's your husband? What do you know about your husband? What does he do? Who's your wife? What do you know about her? What does she do? What about her do you respect? So when I advise people, I tell them, take a piece of paper, both of you. And I want to give that to you as an exercise if you'd like to do that. So do that for yourselves tonight when you go home. Take a piece of paper and write down on it all the things about your husband or your wife. So each of you take one paper. All the things about your spouse that you like and you respect. Everything. Just write down and make a list. And if inshallah, one sheet of paper is not enough for you, so use as much paper as you like. But actually write down one by one everything about your husband or your wife that you appreciate and you like. Right? Will you do this inshallah? Alright. And once you have done all of that, then turn the paper around and write down all that you do not like about them. Do both, because they are human. Even our mothers, the Azwajatul Muttaharat, the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, even they had some problem with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So you are not better than them and you are not better than them. So write down on one side of your sheet of paper everything that you appreciate and you like and you respect about your husband and your wife. And on the back of that, you write down all that you dislike. What is it that you find irritating? What is it that you don't like? And so on. Right? Inshallah, that alone will be enough of an eye-opener for you. Because when you are done with that list, you will realize how much you have to thank Allah Jalla wa Ala for. Once you have done this, then I want to give you another exercise. That exercise is, from then onwards, pray tahajjud, and in tahajjud, in sajda, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all that stuff you listed out on the front of that page. Yes? So you get two benefits. Benefit of tahajjud, plus the benefit of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He said, وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِدَنَّكُمْ. Which means that He will increase the blessings in your wife. It doesn't mean He'll give you another wife. لَأَزِدَنَّكُمْ, mashallah. Pray tahajjud every day. Yeah? So do this. What do I respect her for? What do I respect him for? And this respect produces love. This respect produces love. And the third word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used in this ayah was rahmah. And see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He uses a word which relates to His own rahmah. Rahmanu rahimu fi dunya wal akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah says, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ رَحْمَةً مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Why these two when Allah has already said mawadda? What is the need for rahmah? Because Rahma is for the time when it is not required. It is for the time when the person doesn't deserve it. Now think about this. Do we deserve the Rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Can I say that I deserve the Rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? But Allah is Rahim. Allah is Rahman. Rahma, in my view, is that sifat of Allah Jalla wa Ala, where He is merciful to those who do not deserve His mercy. We don't deserve His mercy, yet He is merciful. And that is the meaning of Rahma in the marriage. Many times couples, they say, you know how she behaves. And you know what she does. And every time there is some excuse, every time this is some excuse. You know what she does. How can I be merciful? And my point is, that is the reason why you should be merciful. If you didn't do that, what were you being merciful for? If you are nice to somebody who's nice, big deal. That's what you're supposed to be. But if you are nice to someone who's not being nice, that is the meaning of Rahmah. Rahmah is to show mercy. Rahmah is to show kindness and compassion when the person is doing strange things. And both of us do it, believe me. The men do this far more than women. Women actually get blamed for a lot of stuff. For example, women are supposed to be gossips. They do a lot of gossip. But I can tell you as a man, men gossip 10 times more than women. But somehow we've managed to keep our image clean. It's all on them. So alhamdulillah, let us keep it like that. But we know internally how it is. Yeah? Rahmah is also for a time, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you all from that. Rahmah is also for a time when we are human, our bodies have different things, and if something happens and the rights of the marriage can no longer be fulfilled, you still love and respect and honor for the time that you spent together, for all the good that came to you all these years. So now you don't say, well, salam alaikum, I'm gone. No. Say, alhamdulillah, I honor all that I got all these years. Rahmah. Sukoon, mawadda, or rahmah. 3 words. Now imagine a marriage where these 3 exist. And alhamdulillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of you this beauty and this blessing of such a marriage, where all 3 exist. There is sukoon, there is not even a desire to go anywhere. And there is mawadda, there is great love and respect and honor. Who's my best friend? My wife. Who's your best friend? Your wife. Who's your best friend? Your husband. What's the meaning of best friend? Sharing of everything. We talk, we share, there are no secrets, we ask for advice, we get good advice. And what is the example of this? The best of all examples. Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The best of all examples. Sulh Hudaybiyah. You know all the details of that. I will not go into all of that. That is a lecture in itself. And so many lessons. And in our Al-Ghuraba program, we spend some time on this. Of course, we never do justice to any of that. You need, for that one day, I think if you sit for a whole week and talk about that, it will not be enough. The lessons that we get from this. But one of the things, I'm talking about the marriage, one of the things, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has signed a treaty, and all the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, they are so upset about this. They're so frustrated, they're so angry. Not one of them likes this treaty. And obviously even Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam obviously didn't like it, but he did what he was commanded by his Rabb. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam orders and says, shave your heads and slaughter your animals. And for the first time something happened which had never happened before, which is that the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajmain, they were all sitting and they did not move. They did not move. They did not obey the order of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They didn't disobey him in the sense, they didn't say, sorry, we will not do it. They didn't say that, but they didn't move. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got up from his place and he went back into his tent. Because remember, directly disobeying Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is kufr. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even in that situation, see the rahmah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not repeat the order, he just said it once. Because if he repeats the order and there is no obedience, then this is kufr. He did not do that, he just said it once. And they didn't move. So he got up and went into his tent. And our mother, Salama radiallahu anha, she was there with in the tent with him. And she saw him, she said, Ya Rasulullah, what is the problem? She said, my ummah is destroying itself. He said, my ummah is destroying itself. She said, Ya Rasulullah, what happened? She said, I gave them an order and they are not obeying. I told them to do this and they are not obeying. She said, Ya Rasulullah, you go back and you do it. Don't tell them anything. You do it. And inshallah they will follow you. They will follow you. Now see the position. Who is advising whom? Who receives wahi? Who is the Nabi of Allah? Who is the Rasul of Allah? Who is the recipient of the Quran? And who is advising whom? You see the beauty of the marriage? Did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam turn around and say, look, you know what? You get wahi or I get wahi? What is advising me? Sorry, I don't need your advice. Eh? What do you know about people? What do you know about leadership? You are the Nabi, I am the Nabi. Did he say, oh, no. He listened to her. He listened to her and he did what she told him to do. Love comes out of respect. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew, this lady is a wise lady. She has, alhamdulillah, muttaqi. My brothers, the greatest ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's a wife who is muttaqi. He's a woman who is connected to Allah. Because when she asks, Allah will give. When she asks, Allah will give. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went out and he told the person who was going to shave his head, shave my head and bring the animals for slaughter. And the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajmain, the writer of the Sirah says, they all followed. Every single one of them. They all followed. They shaved their hair, they were weeping, and he says in that process, sometimes the knife would cut the hair, there would be blood flowing and tears flowing, but every single one of them followed the advice of Salama radiallahu anha. This is the position of the wife, a woman who is muttaqi. And that is why I say to people, appreciate a wife who is muttaqi. Maybe she acts strange once in a while, doesn't matter. But when you need it, you ask her, make dua for me. And she will ask. And your Rabb will give what He will not give you. And that's what some pain, no? I don't want to go on long because I'm sure you'll ask some questions. But I want to mention another story from our mothers, the wives of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sees for the first time what he never saw before, and that is Jibreel alayhi salam in his real form, sitting on a chair like a throne, and his wings stretching from the east to the west. And anywhere he looked, he saw this image. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent wahi. Imagine the state of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came down from the mountain, he came to his wife and he said, Zambiluni, Zambiluni. She said, cover me up. Cover me up. And she asked, what happened? He said, this is what happened. This is what happened. And what did she say? I'm talking about how love comes out of respect. What did she say? She said, your Rabb will not destroy you. Have no fear. Your Rabb will not destroy you. You are good to your neighbors. You are kind. You are hospitable to your guests. Who is saying this? His wife, radiyallahu anha, Khadijatul Kubra. Respect. She respected him as an individual in his own right, and that respect produced the love. And that love took her to the point where she gave everything she had in order to help him to fulfill his task. Whose was the primary responsibility for da'wah? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's or his family's? It is inshallah the duty of everybody, but the primary responsibility was for him. And she sacrificed everything. She gave everything, all her wealth, all her time. And what was the reward of this supporting her husband in good? What was the reward of supporting her husband in good? One day Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is sitting and Jibreel Alayhi Salam comes. And Jibreel Alayhi Salam said, Ya Rasulullah, your wife Khadija is about to come and she is bringing something for you to eat. He says, when she comes, please tell her that your Rabb Allah Jalla wa Ala send salam on her. And tell her that I also send salam on her. Khadija radiallahu anha comes and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Jibreel is here and he brings salam on you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Jibreel says that he also sends salam on you. This is the reward. This is the reward of doing good, of helping in good. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive any mistakes that I make in what I say, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that we learn the lessons from whatever we hear, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to do that which is pleasing to Him. I want to end finally with two things. One is when people come and ask me, they say, please tell us what are the rights of the husband and what are the rights of the wife. So I tell them, forget the rights. Forget the rights, it's not important, forget the rights. Think about the duties. And you know why? Because Allah will question you about duties, He will not question you about rights. Allah will not say, what was your right? He will say, what was your duty? Did you do it? And you know the beauty of concentrating on duties, the rights get fulfilled automatically. If I concentrate on my duty towards my wife, her rights will get fulfilled automatically. If she concentrates on her duty towards me, my rights get fulfilled automatically. So fulfilling the duties automatically fulfills rights. But if you are focused on the rights, then you are too busy trying to grab your share out of it, and that creates problems. The home is not a battleground. The home is not a place where you are trying to prove that you are smarter and whatever. No. The home is a place of sukoon. Sukoon is the lack of movement, sukoon is the lack of turmoil, sukoon is the lack of conflict, sukoon, it's like a ship coming into the port from out of the storm. You don't want a storm inside the port. The harbor is a place of safety, it's a place of harmony, it's not a place for fighting, it's not a place for conflict. When the ship is in the port, the ship is safe from conflict. I've written a book on this, on marriage, which is on my website. It's a free download. Most welcome, go download it and read it. It's called Marriage. And the website is, as you know, most of you are visitors there. It's my name, yawarbaig.org. That's the Islamic website. yawarbaig.org. So if you go there, there's a free download. That book is free. And if I'm not mistaken, my other book on the upbringing of children, it's called the Bringing Up a Muslim Child. And there is a difference, believe me, between bringing up any child and a Muslim child. And one of the problems today of our society is because we bring up our children like anybody else. There's no difference. And that's why we got problems. A Muslim child is not supposed to be brought up like anyone else. A Muslim child must have a very special, different upbringing. And so I've written a book on that also. It's called Bringing Up a Muslim Child. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that also is on that website. All of these books are free.